Brutally effective in its design, power armor was the most important weapon of the 21st century American military, and a symbol of its enduring might in the face of global collapse. This is the story of the not-so-humble power armor. 2065. The origins of the power armor are tied intimately with the resource wars. As resources depleted, the American military couldn't maintain its vast fleet of combat vehicles. To counter this trend, the Army commissioned its leading R&D companies to develop a platform that would allow single soldiers to operate heavy weapons with ease. 2066. Though initial experiments were unsuccessful, the project paved the way for breakthroughs in military sciences, construction, and fusion technology. The summer of 2066 saw the first cold fusion power cell unveiled by the United States. This proved to be the final straw for the People's Republic of China, a great communist superpower that was teetering on the brink of collapse due to its reliance on fossil fuels. The country demanded the US share their oil reserves and technology, and of course, the United States refused. 2067. A desperate China invaded Alaska in December 2067. As soldiers and tanks landed in Anchorage, the US military was forced to respond quickly. Key to this response was the Power Armor Project. Through a combination of corner cutting and ingenuity, the first power armor units arrived on the Alaskan battlefield within a month. Designated T-45, the units played a large part in halting the Chinese offense. Yet for all its effectiveness, the stopgap nature of this initial armor line became evident as the front line stabilized. The T-45 was good enough to slow down the invading force, but not enough to defeat them outright. 2076. After nearly 10 years of effort, West Tech delivered with the new armor line. June 2076 saw the advanced T-51B entering mass production. Made of a polylaminate composite, the T-51B was far lighter than its predecessor, but still able to absorb over 250 joules of kinetic impact. Power-armored troops were no longer as limited in their movements, offering a huge tactical advantage. Rolled out over 6 months, the T-51B became the new standard-issue power armor of the frontline troops in Alaska. 2077. The Alaskan Reclamation had ended in victory for American forces, and T-51 units were redeployed to the Chinese front. However, all was not well on the home front. Mass food shortages, thanks to a decade of war, huge riots were cropping up across the country. The decision was made to deploy power-armored troops to police the population. T-51B units were spread thinly, but China was in an even worse position after their failed invasion. As US troops closed in on Beijing, the Chinese retaliated with nuclear weapons. The old world had perished on October 23, 2077, marking the end of the Great War. As the nuclear holocaust effectively halted any technical innovations for a century, the T-51B remained the apex of power armor development. Salvaged T-51 armor is still used by a handful of human organizations such as the Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave. In the Enclave's quest for power, new research into advancing the T-51B began over a century and a half after the Great War. Under a presidential mandate in 2215, developments led to the first post-war power armor, the X-01. Known simply as Advanced Power Armor, was composed entirely of lightweight composites rather than previous models' mix of ceramic and metal plating. Within 20 years, it became standard issue for Enclave field operations. 2270s. It took another half-century for the power armor story to continue, after the resurgent Enclave settled into the Adams Air Force Base south of Washington. The limits of power armor technology were pushed to even greater heights after the development of the Hellfire power armor was completed. Worn only by elite Enclave troops, the Hellfire armor is heat-resistant and artificially enhances the strength of the wearer. The Hellfire model is the pinnacle of power armor technology us lowly wastelanders have witnessed so far. With Enclave forces decimated after the destruction of Raven Rock, it appears that power armor development is once again set for a hiatus. That said, we've heard rumors recently of underground experiments, distant rumbles, and a growing tech community in Boston. We may just have the Hellfire models being overtaken sooner than we thought. That's it for History of Power Armor, though there's much more Fallout lore to be explored in upcoming videos, so make sure to check out fallout.gamepedia.com and let us know what you'd like to see in the comments below. This has been Dash for Curse saying thanks for watching and enjoy the game.